Assalamualaikum to the respective lecturer, Madam Dr. Binti Alinar, and my fellow friends. My name is AISHATUL HAKIMA binti AHMAD SHARIHUDDIN. My metric number is 10 DPM 21F1057. Today, I would like to present the case study 2 for Chapter 7, Industry Relation. Question 1A. Explain 5 reasons why employees join trade union. Trade unions are organized associations formed by workers to advocate for their interests and negotiate with employers on employment-related issues like wages, working hours, benefits, and working conditions. They act as a united front, bolstering the collective strength of workers in negotiations. Their core function is collective bargaining, securing favorable employers' agreement for members. They also advocate for workers' rights, address workplace disputes, and contribute to labor-related policies. Trade unions represent the workforce effectively, communicating individual and collective concern to employers and authorities. They provide support in conflicts, mediation, and legal representation. They also engage in proactive initiatives such as creating and improving labor laws and regulation. They offer educational programs and training opportunities to empower members. Trade unions are crucial in the labor market, ensuring equitable working conditions and workforce rights. Why employees join trade union? In the context of the article, employees may join trade unions for several reasons, particularly in the apprehension voiced in the statement. First, collective bargaining power. Employees may choose to join trade unions to strengthen their collective bargaining power. The article hints at the potential downside of having multiple unions, as they might compete for members, which could make the effectiveness easier for collective bargaining. By joining a union, employees aim to unify their strength, ensuring that negotiations with employees lead to favorable terms and conditions of employment. This desire for a unified front becomes crucial in situations where internal union competition could otherwise weaken their bargaining position. Second, protection of workers' rights. The Human Resource Minister's statement in the article emphasized the aim of the Trade Union Bill Amendment to create a legal framework supporting mature and progressive trade union. In response to this, employees may join trade union as a proactive measure to secure the protection of their rights. Unions are traditionally seen as advocates for workers, addressing concerns related to labor standards and fair treatment. Joining a union becomes a strategic move for employees to ensure their interests are safeguarded within the evolving legal framework. Third, addressing concern about weakening workers' position. The article suggests a potential consequence of the amendment could be internal competition among unions, leading to a weakened collective position. In light of this concern, employees might choose to join trade union to counteract the fragmentation that could occur. By being part of a unified front, workers strive to maintain a strong and cohesive representation, preventing any division of their collective strength. This motivation reflects a strategic response to challenges posed by the amendment. 4. Historical context of worker empowerment. This reference to historical promotion of in-house union adds a layer of context. Employees recognizing pattern of attempt to diminish the trade union movement may join union as an empowering act. This historical context becomes a motivating factor for workers to resist trends that could compromise their ability to engage with employers on an equal footing. Joining a union in this context becomes a means for employees to assert their agency and preserve the strength of the trade union movement. 5. Concern about government intention. The article quotes Callistus Anthony De Angelis expressing doubt about the government intention behind the amendment. In response to this concern, employees may join trade union as a form of proactive defense. Joining a union can be seen as a way for workers to ensure their voices are heard and their rights protected in the face of potential government or employer action that could be detrimental. This motivation reflects about the government's intention and desire for a collective voice to counteract any perceived threats. In summary, employees may join trade union to strategically enhance their bargaining power, secure the protection of their right within a changing legal framework, counteract potential internal fragmentation, assert their historical empowerment, and respond to perceived threats from the government or employers, all of which are nuanced motivation highlighted or implied in the provided article. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and good morning. My name is NURUL binti BURHANUDDin and my matrix number is 10 DPM 21F1007. Today, I would like to discuss about question 1B. For question 1B, the question is explain 5 points of innovative ways for employee education to strengthen the trade unions. Before that, I will explain about Trade Union Act 1959. Trade union or union is defined as any organization or combination of workers or employers. The trade union movement is an important element in industrial relations in Malaysia. It also functions as a body that looks after and protects the interests and welfare of its members. They are the ones who fight for better justice and the rights of all in work. So they are very important in every organization. But in the article, some parties believe that the trade union is wasting its time in the matter because it requires time and effort to argue for the rights of the affected workers. Furthermore, they assert that the establishment of this trade union was not justified only to defend the rights of employees. The most important groups for workers to realize their rights are trade unions. Thus, there are several inventive approaches to encourage employees to become members of a union, as doing so can enable them to get a variety of benefits and give the union's voice recognition when putting out legitimate requests. Thus, the following 5 creative ways to educate employees about strengthening trade union demonstrate that this union have benefits rather than drawbacks. Number 1, unions can tell workers that they will be entitled to get better wages and benefits. Workers who are union members get more benefits than non-members. This is because unions can negotiate to improve wages, benefits, overtime, health insurance, vacation times, and more by using their collective bargaining power or strong collective agreements. By following this union, we can negotiate with management to get the best deals for workers regarding the compensation they deserve. As a result, lower level workers do not need to participate in this collective because union members with rank and position can help workers get their demands and rights. Number 2, trade unions must demonstrate their commitment to fighting for their members' right to self-protection to entice them to join. Workers do not need to worry if they follow this union because 100% trade unions are always supporters of workers. They will highlight all the rights of workers in addition to speaking up for the rights that they themselves are entitled to. For example, if an employer mistreats an employee, the employee can rely on the organization's trade union for assistance and knowledgeable representation in bringing this issue to the fore to resolve the problem so that the employer realizes that their employees are being mistreated by themselves. If the employees are not satisfied with their jobs or with the management, they can always contact the trade union representative, and surely the trade union will continue to discuss with the employer to solve the problems presented to make the employees satisfied. This shows that the trade union is very committed in defending all rights and ensuring that members and workers get the right rights. Number 3, unions must demonstrate equality in obtaining the rights of all workers. In addition, the trade union must defend workers' equal right and compensation. Additionally, they combat prejudice based on factors including ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, and handicap. This trade union does a terrific job of promoting dignity and respect at work, which makes employees feel content and at ease. To adequately handle childcare and other obligations, trade unions also support paid paternity leave, flexible work schedules, and maternity rights. Evidence that trade unionism is becoming more equal is the fact that women have led some of the biggest trade unions in the world, and that unions actively encourage young people and women to assume leadership positions within the organization. This demonstrates how the trade union can fairly consider all viewpoints and select the best to speak for employees who are unjustly treated or left behind. Number 4, the security of the data and information of workers who join the trade union needs to be shown to encourage them to feel safe and will not lose their jobs by joining this trade union. It is well known that workers who join these unions face a very high risk of not being able to continue working because 50% of employers are willing to fire workers because they don't like workers who join unions. Due to this matter, the trade union takes action to keep confidential all the data and information of the workers who enter this union. Therefore, anyone who wants to join this union need no fear because this union is always informed about the protection of their information about union membership. By joining this union, workers will receive fair and equitable rights throughout their tenure in the company. It also eliminates the fear that they may lose their jobs. And the last is number 5. The trade union needs to demonstrate unity to its members to foster a sense of community and facilitate open communication about issues at work. There are 2 types of trade unions, internal and international. There is an amazing global network of these unions. The fact that the trade union has more than 600 affiliates in 140 countries. From this, we can see that it shows that the unity spread throughout the country. When workers join these unions, workers are recognized for having joined the international community in fighting for their legitimate rights. This shows how much trade unions care about their universal rights and unity. However, employees are free to decide whether to join this trade union. Only as a trade union can we ask employees to provide feedback to the unions so that their rights are upheld and the union receive backing for advocating on behalf of impacted workers. Trade unions are busy doing things that help their members. The goal is to strengthen and better protect trade unions' rights. Collective bargaining is one of the strategies that trade unions use to demand the rights and welfare of workers. Different roles that trade unions perform for employees and different obstacles that the union faces in accomplishing its objective.
Assalamualaikum and every good morning to one and all. My name is NURUL BINTI AZIZAN and my matrix number is 10DPM21F1069. Now I'm going to elaborate 5 ways to make a collective bargaining effective. Collective bargaining is a process that is used to negotiate the terms and circumstances of employment between employers and organized group of employees, which are typically labor unions. The first way to make a collective bargaining effective is preparation and research. It is necessary for us to be aware of the objective, defined as precisely as possible the objective and the top priorities of the bargaining team. Gain an understanding of the goals that the employees have for themselves in the terms of salary, benefits, working condition, and any other concerns that are pertinent. Next step is to collect data to carry out in-depth research on the standard of the industry, the current economic climate, and the state of the company's finance. The position of the bargaining party is strengthened when there is a strong data to support the suggestions. This action needs to be taken by both parties, namely trade union and the employer. For instance, claim of member, compensation provided by the employer, facilities provided by the employer in the office, and financial position. The second way is creativity and adaptability. To begin, employer need to investigate an option for creative solution, maintain a willingness to investigate many types of solution and compromises. Occasionally, non-traditional technique or inventive offers have the potential for breaking blockage and leads to agreement that are advantageous both parties individually. Secondly, adaptability in one's approach. Realize that there is a reciprocal relationship involved in negotiation. A strategy that is flexible enables for adjustment to be made, which can ultimately result in a more agreeable arrangement for both parties. The third way is professionalism and adherence to the law. To ensure that negotiation process is in accordance with applicable labor laws and regulation, this step needs to be taken by the trade union. The first step is to get an understanding of the legal framework. It is helpful to be familiar with legal standards and procedures to avoid problems and issues in the legal system. In addition to that, it is important to make sure that maintain professionalism to carry out negotiation in an appropriate way, concentrating on topics rather than personal problems. Increasing the trustworthiness of the negotiation teams and contributing to a more favorable climate for negotiation are both outcomes that can be achieved through professionalism. The fourth way to make collective bargaining effective is enhancing the uniting force and atmosphere of solidarity among the members. Its purpose is to cultivate a strong feeling of unity among the members of trade union. When there is a unified front, the bargaining position is strengthened and the ability to obtain the desired goal is enhanced. The next step is to involve members in the process, which means holding meetings, conducting surveys, and holding feedback sessions to involve members of the unions in the process of bargaining. Because of this, the negotiating team is certain to have a comprehensive understanding of the requirements and anticipation of the workforce. The last way is communications and openness to the public. Utilizing an open discussion is yet another method that may be utilized for making collective bargaining more productive. Maintain communication that is both parties and honest amongst the parties involved in the negotiations. The establishment of a healthy discourse contributes to the development of trust and that ensures talks proceed more smoothly. On top of that, ensure that regular updates are met. The members of trade unions should be kept up to date on the progress of the discussions. Fostering a sense of involvement with the negotiation process and helping keep up solidarity among employees are both benefits that can be gained from the transparency. Strategic planning, clear and constant communications, adaptability, and a dedication to the ethical and legal practices are the pillars upon which successful collective bargaining rests. That's all from me. Thank you. Next, I will pass it to the next presenter for the questions too.
And next is I would like to discuss about this article, which is about question 2A. For question 2A, based on the news above, It is legal for the employees to picket. It is legal. A picket is an action taken by a union to notify the public of a dispute that exists between the union and the employer. Regarding the previously mentioned issues, discrimination and violations of the law have been committed by HSBC and NURUL. In addition, they have ignored workers' rights, including those related to outsourcing jobs to third parties, forced workers to take VSS voluntary separation schema or quit voluntarily during the COVID-19 pandemic, and did not provide basic work requirements. As a result, workers spoke up and staged protests to demand proper rights. Workers can show their anger toward their employers who do not consider their rights by holding a picket based on this question. In addition, the goal of the workers in carrying out this picket is to make the employer aware that they have to fulfill their obligations on what was promised in the job offer letter. Pickets must be done quickly either after work or during lunch, such as labor or union news. It is appropriate to choose lunchtime as the time. This is because many people go out to rest at that time, so it is appropriate for employees or trade union to speak up because many people are aware of the mistakes made by NURUL and HSBC Bank Malaysia. When these pickets are in action, workers are only allowed to speak and voice their dissatisfaction. They are not allowed to threaten anyone. This is to prevent any harm from happening to each other. Therefore, the workers in the news article have the right to picket in voicing what the company itself does to their workers without mercy.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Tin and my metric number is 10TPM21F103. Today, I will present about question number 2B and 2C. Question number 2B is determine 5 rules they need to know before picketing against their company. First, make sure the claim to picket. You should connect to a dispute which you are involved in. For instance, the employer in the article has disagreed worker rights, including those related to unpaid overtime and other benefits. So the employee who involved in the issue can join the picket against the company. As a result, employees can voice out and demand their rightful compensation for the right. Do this, make sure the number of picket. Keep the site reasonable. The number of picket along the road depends on the size of the area to battle. Gathering in large group can lead to limit on the number of picket. The people on the picket line appear to be excessive and intimidating to people attempting to work or conduct business in any way. It may be considered a breach of the peace. Next rule is make sure the place to picket. Picketing is only confined to public areas surrounding the employer permits. In general rules, there should be no picking on private property or in the street. Picket may not block off the sidewalk, driveway, parking field, or any right of way from use by anyone. If it doesn't apply, an employer may be able to sue you or your own union for damage under civil law. The first rule is cannot intimidate anyone. It should be not conducted in an intimidating way. It must be peaceful, although an officers or employee of the union can be present to ensure that the picketing is carried out according to the law. It also cannot to use the publicity toward other passing close by the picket line. And the last rule is don't do anything that possible injuring other people. It is not allowed to bring any offensive people while picketing. Besides that, it also cannot damage property to cause a breach of the peace. The police can take any action that can feel the necessary to ensure that the picketing is peaceful. After that, I will present about the question 2C. If you are a member of this trade union, is it compulsory for you to join the picket? The answer is no, it is not compulsory to join the picket. It depends on yourself whether you want to participate voluntarily or to participate to participate in picketing because there are many unknown things that may happen on site. So I want to join to avoid the unexpected problem. Besides that, participate in picketing may be affect the image. If I quit my job, I don't want it to affect my chance of finding another job. That it also may cause a conflict in the organization. There will be conflict among the colleagues and lead to lack of cooperation. That's all from our group. Thank you.